Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girls is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Denden Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now our captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girls is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Denden Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now our captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
It's great to be here. I know that you're probably the biggest supporters of the Reggae Girls. So what you do and the message that you spread for the girls, it's really appreciated.
Crystal, I gotta give it to her. I've heard a lot of guys say she's the reason why they start off to watch female football. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm pushing her out there to keep on doing your thing. Don't get discouraged. You have a band of brothers behind you. And what we trying to do is to get female who think like you know, in the game. Right, Siobhan?
Yeah,
so enough
because
respect to you, Crystal, and keep fighting.
yeah, because as you mentioned, a lot of persons, because I think the Reggae Girls has been the most successful team in our football, and I think a lot of that was underrated. So what you've done for the local aspect of Jamaicans, you've brought that sense of admiration to the persons know that, hey, it's not just the boys, the females as well. The females have the love as well. And honestly, if it wasn't for someone like you, Crystal, the YouTube space would just be crowded with the reggae boys, reggae boys, reggae boys.
Yeah.
My followers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning. All depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. I was wondering, like, what is going on? Like, it's supposed to bring me on stream by now. Sorry about that, guys. Let me know how your weekend is going. Let me know how you guys are getting on. I hope you're all in great health. And finally, big up to Elite Sports TV, Mr. Ryan Jackson. I hope you're in great health. So, guys, finally, we're getting around to talking about the Reggae Girls on the eve of what should be one of the biggest match in our history. Although it's not feeling like it is, it should be, given that it is England, the Lionesses. I don't think they need an introduction. We all know about them. They're the current title holders there of the Euros. So they'll be looking to see if they can hold on to their crown when their competition kicks off. But putting that to one side, it's I'm feeling kind of down, guys. I'm not really sure if I'm the only one, but I'm feeling like really down. Not feeling as upbeat as I should. Again, given the occasion, a big match on the horizon kicking off tomorrow. I think it is like 5 p.m. UK time, and I'm about 5 to 6 hours ahead of most of you guys. If you're in Jamaica, I'm 6 hours ahead of you. If you're across the pond, depending on which state you're in, I'm about 5 to 6 hours ahead of you. Nevertheless, the feeling for myself, I'd be interested to like hear how you guys are feeling in the comment section. But for me, like I said, my feeling is quite low, and I think much of that is to do with what we've seen over the last few camps and counting to the present. And yeah, it's left me in a state of just complete emptiness, not really sure how to approach tomorrow's game. Hopefully the players are in a better mindset than myself. Can't really compare ourselves to the players because, like I said, you know, as it relates to players, unlike fans, yesterday's result doesn't matter. And I think that's the mindset that most of them carry, if not all of them. So what a moment for Jamaican football. Finally, you know, these are a couple of the fixtures there that we have dreamt of over the last couple of years and counting. Pretty much since our successful World Cup qualification back in the 2019 cycle. From there on out, we've always, as a fan base, always wanted to play against the bigger nations. So like your England, your Spain, your France, your Brazil. And finally, the girls, all of their years of dedication is coming to fruition. They can finally reap what they have sowed over the last couple of years and counting. But I don't know, guys. I'm not as upbeat as I would like to be. But again, just let me know how you guys are feeling there in the comment section. For me, it's always been a dream fixture. Playing against England's always been a dream fixture of mine. For obvious reasons, I don't really think I need to go into that, but it's always been a dream of mine. And I think fans within the diaspora, pretty much the fans there within the UK diaspora and potentially across Europe, I think it's been a dream fixture for all of us, and we finally got it. Finally got what we've dreamt for. But as I said, you know, on the eve of what should be a special occasion for us, something that should feel like a much anticipated game. The hype just isn't there. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but the hype and the anticipation is just not being felt. I'm not really sure why that is. I think just for myself, as I said, I think it's to do with just what we've seen in terms of performance wise over the last couple of camps and so on. So rather than feeling optimistic, rather than feeling, you know, like I can't wait for a kickoff, all that anticipation, non-existent for me. And I'm left pretty much feeling as if there's more questions than answers. I don't know how you guys feel, but that remains to be how I am feeling. I'm seeing what you guys are saying in the comment section. Big up yourself, Young Kings Entertainment. No Gold Cup conversation tonight. I'm not going to be talking about the Reggae Boys, strictly the Reggae Girls. The boys have had their time. I think I've been pretty fair with my content distribution with you guys. So I'm going to segue and talk about the Reggae Girls, because we do have that game against England, literally. Right on our doorstep. It's actually Sunday for me already, so it's gone past 12 a.m. So match day and kickoff is almost upon us. So what I'm going to do, keep it the same, you know, just like the last couple of live streams. I'm going to go ahead and listen to what the gaffer Hubert Busby has to say in relation to his squad announcement, as well as his pre-match press conference. And as per usual, I will go ahead and press pause if and when necessary. So let's go ahead and see how I can play this one for you guys. Energy is something that I can't fake, guys. My energy just isn't there at the moment, as you guys can sense. But hopefully, whatever is said in the squad announcements or the press conference, the pre-match press conference, can inject some life into me. So let's go ahead and start off with the squad announcements, and then I will segue to the pre-match press conference.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. good morning, depending on which time zone you are in currently. Thank you very much for being here with us for the squad announcement press conference for the Reggae Girls as they get set to face England in a friendly international on June 29 in Leicester. We're joined with the head coach of the senior women's national team, Coach Hubert Busby, who will go into the squad. But before he goes into that, he'll be providing some opening remarks before we put the squad on the screen. So, Coach, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well, and we look forward to hearing from you in a moment.
Yeah, good afternoon, Simon. Good afternoon, morning, evening, depending on where you are joining us from. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us for this press conference today. Before we go into the announcement, again, just want to take this opportunity to wish the Coach McLaren and the Reggae boys and all his staff all the best tonight versus Panama. So looking forward to the game. I think a couple of will stay up in the wee hours of the morning to watch as much as we can before we have training tomorrow. But yeah, wish them all the best tomorrow. Well, tonight actually.
All right, Coach, do you want me to put the squad on the screen now and then you can go into the details? That's all right with you?
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right. Okay, you can go ahead now.
All right, so the squad for this England series, we have Leah Brooks, Saria Menza, Leah Morgan, Alison Swaby, Naya Cardoza, Chantel Swaby, Amelia Van Zanten, Naima Ingleton, Tiffany Cameron make up our defenders.
Coach sounding like how I'm feeling there, guys. So I think he just read out the back line, the defensive selection there. And obviously, I might leave this one until he reads out the rest of the squad, actually. I'm glancing my eyes on the midfield and the forward. So I'll let him go ahead and complete the announcement of the rest of the squad. So he's already given us the defenders. So he's going to go through and give us the midfielders, followed by the forwards, and then I will share my initial thoughts with you guys.
Bailey, Kiara Jade Bailey, Kayla McKenna, Alyssa Van Zanten, Cameron Simmons, Rihanna Blades, Natasha Thomas, and Rashaya Walker. All right, so that's just the squad that we will face England with on Sunday. And at this time, we'll open up the floor to any questions you may have.
So again, the coach is sounding like how I'm feeling. Initial glance, I've actually been so silly. Let me go ahead and bring up that shared screen with you guys. I completely forgot. Let's go ahead and bring up the squad list, if I can find it, that is. And after I do so, I'm going to go ahead and bring one of our favorite people on the screen to talk about the squad announcement and potentially the press conference with you guys. Let me just go ahead and see if I can find, there we go. So yeah, let's go ahead and stick that one on the screen. So that is the squad announcement there that was read out by the head coach, Hubert Busby. And Mr. Jackson, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I have to run out of the barber shop because I don't want to get copyright. So if you hear a whole heap of breeze, I'm next door to one park.
No,
so,
that's very thoughtful.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm not too bad. You look all masked up.
Yeah, in the park, mosquito. I don't want to protect my nice, beautiful skin, you know. So.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Have you caught wind of the Oh, you're in the park. It's a nice looking park.
Yeah.
Have you caught wind of the press conference, of the squad announcement, I should say?
No, you know, I not see that one day, but I definitely watch a post match. The one that the journalists they were asking the coach question and stuff. So
the pre-match press conference.
Yeah, I tune into that one. It was a good one, short and spicy. Not much information, right? But trust me, Crystal, I feel the same way how you feel going into a game. I think the energy and the love suck out of the women's team. I'm going to be honest with you, and if we continue like this, it will be the same thing with the men's team too in the future. If we continue behave like this, man. We're coming from 2 back-to-back World Cup, right, with so much joy and so much happiness. And, you know, the administration have to take some blame too, and the players have to take some blame too. You know,
Yeah.
we're not going to say, oh, that person ever get 10, that person ever get 10. But everybody collected and the fans just left in a limbo. You know, so look at this big game that Jamaica. We dream to play England, as they say, right? We see the Unity Cup where we see a lot of. Yeah, are you hearing me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm in total agreement with what you're saying so far.
Yeah, I would just want to make sure you're hearing me because the car is passing. So this is one of our biggest game, different from the United States. This is England, and most of our players come from England. Most of our players, this is going to be probably the first time their parents and their family member watching them playing for the heritage team that is Jamaica. And I dream for this game, you know, Krista. I
Me
dream for this game because it's like, you know, when the girls or the boys have so much to play to offer to this England team, especially most of them grew up in England and going to actually play against England. So much attention will be in this game because of the rivalry with Jamaica and England. You know, the last time we played England in the men's, I think was 2006, 2007. Not a good show. Yeah, I can remember that game in Manchester.
Yeah,
you know,
I remember and the robot dance.
Yeah, that was a big thing. And a lot of Jamaicans come out and support the Reggae Boys, you know, but it was a disappointed. But actually, Crystal, what I'm really looking forward, I'm going to be very honest, I'm just not expecting, what I don't want us to get is battering. You know what I mean? I don't want us to get battering. I don't want us to get 6 or 7 and 8. Because it could easily be that playing against this England team. They're on top of their game. They look really good. They have a lot of confidence. They play with a lot of swagger and stuff. But I think hope the girls can just go out there and give them best and, you know, play with a little bit of art. It's how you lose, you know. It's how you lose. But going down with a fight, I always appreciate any Jamaican team go out there and fight and put in effort, fighting for that badge. But it won't be easy. It won't be easy. I'm not going to sit here and be a fool, say that Jamaica going to win. I know it's going to be a very, very difficult game. And I think I'm just can't imagine because the last time we was in the World Cup, I was expecting us to beat Colombia.
Right, yeah, exactly. France, Colombia, Brazil, yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting to beat Colombia because I want to see England and Jamaica play.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I was saying, bring on England without scared because we were in our moment.
Yep.
But from the World Cup, it's just a total mess. And this is why not a lot of vibes going into the game. I can feel it through the screen, watching you. I feel the same because 12 months ago, 18 months ago, we don't feel like this with the Reggae Girls. It's all joy. We can get result. We see. And one thing, I have to blame this coaching staff and the previous regime who wasn't conceding so much goals. Who wasn't conceding so much goal. And even when we play against better team, we have the capability to play around the ball and make 6, 5, 7, 8 passes. With this coach, we play Mexico, we play against US, and we cannot hold the football. We cannot defend. We conceding the same goal over and over, right? And I don't know, man, the coach have to get it right, man. The coach have to get it right. And the girls have to get it right too, man. This is an opportunity for a lot of the girls who new to the team and who are looking to stay in the team for a full time. I really think, Crystal, I think we need to shake up the Reggae Girls team, man. That's the only way we're going to get success with this team.
Ryan. Ryan, My brother, I agree with you so much, and that's why I'm looking and I'm being so critical of the head coach, Coach Busby, because I'm looking and I'm thinking it's all going to be on you now. You know how we go forward. Again, I'm going to play the press conference in a short while. He read out the squad announcement, but the first thing that jumps out at me, I'll piggyback on what you've said there. The squad list for me is pretty disappointing. And I will say that I do feel a little bit let down as a fan, as a 12 man, because it's not just me, it's people like Mr. Jackson, Elite Sports TV, and so many others in new media who will be in the drum where the Jamaica Football Federation is concerned. And we used to be on our knees begging them for international friendlies. And here we are on arguably the biggest international friendly ever. I think this is bigger than playing Brazil. It's bigger than playing against the USA, because it's England. It's England, like the Jamaican diaspora community in England. I think it's the biggest. I believe it's the biggest. I think it's bigger than America, bigger than Canada, bigger than anywhere else. So this one feels like a personal assignment. So I'm looking at the squad list and I feel pretty disappointed. But I will say this though, Ryan, big up to all the players who have made themselves available to represent our country, right? Of course, there are some players there who are unavailable for valid reasons. If you're unavailable because you're taking care of your well-being, be it your mental or your physical well-being, that to me is a good enough reason. And of course, naturally, I hope to see you putting on the colors of the national team soon. But then you said something that is quite important, because you touched on the players there who have accepted the call up and they are here and they are present. So what is Busby going to do when those other players who are unavailable for whatever reason it is make themselves available? Are you going to take these couple players who have made themselves available and shove them to the wayside? Because if you do that, surely you're potentially setting yourself up for some internal conflicts with the players in the squad. No, or am I wrong for thinking like that?
Hey, Crystal, man, I'm telling you this, man. I want Busby to not to be associate himself with the girl. You have to love the girl from a distance. You can't be a coach
Right.
and lovey-dovey with the girls. You have to
Exactly.
make them that you in charge of this. Crystal, the team need not just 23 players, but when a player drop out, whatever the reason is, it's supposed to be difficult for any senior player to get back in the team. Now, when the senior players come, the players we're in now have to make use of the opportunity to show to the coach that we are belong here and we want to be here by performing. And I'm telling you, Crystal, and it happened with the men's team, we need to start validate and give people who playing and deserve to be there, not because you're just a senior player. We must not, because you were here 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you're part of the journey. No, you can't build a team like that. Yes, you need loyalty, but at what stage the loyalty cut off with our national team? It has to be a thing where people get their position be by performing. Performing is key. Performing is key. That raises the level of the fan base and build momentum in the squad. Confident, everything. Right? We can't have this team available, and when they do well, you just drop them because you have that the player that are coming. No, you're supposed to work hard coming back into the team.
It's too many excuses there though, Ryan, because even when Busby read out the squad announcement, you can quite clearly see there. If you look at a couple of the positions there, let's look at defense. He's got Tiffany Cameron down as a defender. Why? Because it doesn't have certain players available. But then I look at that and I say it's not just Tiffany Cameron that's going to be, it's looking like she's going to be playing out of position. Maybe Sade will be played out of position as well, as it could be expected for Vian Sampson. Just when I take a quick glance at the team. So what that tells me as it relates to Busby is that old habits die hard, because it's not the first time that he would have played a player out of position, right? And I'm looking and I'm thinking, what happened to
we
this?
have been playing Tiffany out of position for God knows how long, man. And it costing her every minute she drop out of the team, somebody come in because she's not playing in her right position.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm looking and I'm thinking to myself, what happened to Busby's 60-player talent pool? Could he not look at his 60-player talent pool and find players who are suitable to cover the positions rather than using players as makeshift players? Could he not look to his 60-player talent pool and say, okay, I need some players there for defense and I need some players there for midfield? I'm not really sure why he keeps on opting with the decision to play players out of position, because look, that exactly like what you said, that it is costing someone like a Cameron who has been dedicated to Jamaica. And I will say before it slips my mind, it's not just Tiffany Cameron. Like I said, big up to the players who have made themselves available, but also players like the Swaby sisters. Swaby sisters are ever present, Ryan, ever present, no matter the occasion. And I just kind of feel like, yes, when I listened to that announcement there from the gaffer, I didn't really pick up on any reasons pertaining to why some players are unavailable, but I kind of feel like not only have you let your fan base down, but you've also let your teammates down. You've let your teammates down, because we're all talking about players needing breaks and so on. And absolutely, yes, players do need their breaks. They do need mental health breaks. They do need a physical break. But at the end of the day, they're not the only ones that need a break. When you look at the football calendar
Are they running from embarrassment? Because we see that in the last couple games. What is going on?
if I doubt that they are, but if they are running from embarrassment, keep on running. Keep on running, because you can't pick and choose when to make yourselves available. You cannot pick and choose when to make yourself available. And one of my gripe with Busby is that he seems to be pondering to giving certain clubs, or club, I should say, what they want. And that for me don't sit well. It doesn't sit well with me. It's, Paul Hall, one of the greatest quotes there from Paul Hall when he did one of his press conferences. He said that if any player wants to play for Jamaica, no club can stop them. And I just kind of wish that message and that sentiment was felt when it comes to certain of these reggae girls. Because like I said, unless it's a reason where it's personal, pertaining to your well-being, your physical, your mental well-being, and obviously injuries, what could be the reason why you're not in camp? It can't just be that you just, is it complacency? Do you actually think that you're too good to be displaced? And again, like, not only are you letting down your fans, but you're also letting down your teammates. You look at that squad there, Ryan, and you look at the players who have accepted their call-ups once more. The likes of the Swaby sisters, Kayla McKenna, Tiffany Cameron, Cameron Simmons, Shade Adamolokun, and a couple of other players there. They've had a hectic season, just like a couple of the girls who are
And Jane Bailey.
Jade Bailey, everyone, all those girls there, like I said, and Vian Sampson, she's coming all the way from almost like another planet. They've had a hectic season. I'm talking about relegation battles. I'm talking about playing in domestic cups and going through to the latter rounds, like your quarterfinals and so on. So they are as exhausted as these players who need a break, but to each their own. Me and you might carry out the same task in the gym, and by the time we reach home, I might say to you, know what, Ryan, I'm not doing a show tonight because my body is tired. And you might proceed to doing your show. That doesn't mean that you're more committed than myself. It just means that we need a break. But I do feel let down. I'm not sure how the gaffer feels personally, but I do feel let down. But I think you're right. He needs to distance himself from the team. That's a question I've always wondered, like, Busby, like, who is in charge here? Who is in charge? Like, yeah, are you doing blind loyalty? Are you loyal to some when in essence, in reality, they're not loyal to you? Because if I'm a player, Ryan, and I'm making myself available, and other players aren't as committed as me, I'm not going to be happy to see you in camp at any given moment. Yeah, because one thing for certain, I don't think that it is fair for players to plant the seeds, and when it's time to harvest the crops, they get pushed to the wayside and someone else come in and reap what they have sown. I don't agree with that. That sit well with me. And that looks like that's where we're at.
And the funny thing about it, right? We are in 2025. This is the last game until next year, right? So this would be the perfect opportunity for these players. One game, just one game you play, just one game before you go on a long holiday. Just one game. And all we're asking players to show up for this game, that we can get the chemistry. We already miss out and a lot of the key players not playing in together. Football is not just like a switch where you can just switch it off and just switch it on back. You have to build that unity. You have to build that chemistry. So when you go there, and the funny thing, if we continue like this, actually every team is catching up on us in the region. When I look at 80, they are playing game consistent. I watch 80 versus Canada. Although 80 lose, but they are playing in together. They are playing in game together. Panama, right? Recently, we played them in the Gold Cup. They get the better of us. These teams are playing game. Costa Rica, all of these teams were a team that Jamaica beat up. Now, when we play them, the game is very, very close, right? So every time we are ahead, administration bring us back, right? And ourselves bring us back. So this is the opportunity for some of the players them. Where is Kanye Plummer? I'm expecting to see Kanye Plummer in the team. I'm expecting to see Jody Brown. I'm expecting to see all of these players. So let's fight. Let's go again. We have the opportunity to go to the next World Cup, and this is the opportunity for us, but we are not here. But as we always say, it don't happen. We can control who is here, who is willing to fight and to make an impact on this team, Crystal. I'm going to be very honest with you. And, Simmons Cameron is, one of the main problems we have with the girls' team. Same thing with the boys' team. We don't create enough for our wingers and our strikers. And Cameron, I watch Cameron all the time. I watch highlight, I watch when she score and her dad put it up. And I'm saying, why she look so great at our college team, but when she come to play for Jamaica, because they're not giving her the service. Our strikers and wingers touch the ball like 1, 2, 3, 4 times out of the game. The coach, what system or tactics you're making to make the forward player get more touch in the game? It can't be just alone, just defend. Sometimes you're going to make mistake. This is the time to make mistake. Yeah? Build on something. That's what I like about London also. Build on something. Don't afraid to pass out the ball. Right? Man, I want to see the girls get back, man, but they have to be serious, man. Right? They have to be serious, man. Nobody wants it for them. They have to want it. You know?
But you know what? It's sorry, Ryan. Continue.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was trying to piggyback on what you said about Cameron Simmons. It's not just Cameron Simmons though. I think this is an issue that we've had for, let's say, going into 2 World Cup cycles now. Post, and I'm going to say something that some people are not going to be happy with, but post Vin Blaine, what you said about Cameron Simmons then looking a shadow of herself when she comes to the national team in comparison to her university is absolutely true, because I can draw the same comparison to when Jody Brown was playing for FSU. Of course, now we know she moved on to Benfica last year. That's her first professional club. But I noticed that as it relates to Jody Brown and, let's say, Bonnie Shaw, for example, those 2 players there, in terms of our attacking prowess, whenever they come to the national team, they are a shadow of themselves. They look great for their university stroke club, and of course Bunny Shaw in Manchester City, and Jodie was winning accolades and titles with FSU when she was a university students with them, and we all saw what Bunny Shaw has done with Manchester City as it relates to accolades. But every time these girls come into the national setup of late, and I say this is now spilling over to a second World Cup cycle on the trot, they look a shadow of themselves, Ryan. So clearly there's
but Crystal, sometimes it's a system where the coach too much defensive. You have to have the balance with defense and attack. And it take away from the team where they're just defending. Right? Only time them express themselves, you can see it when them play against the likes of Haiti, the likes of Panama, Costa Rica, the coach, okay, take off the handbrake. How are you going to get better when you play against the best team them, when you're supposed to sharpen, when you're supposed to make mistake to adjust to get better, we are playing defensive. The last time we played so well, I saw the girls them when they have nothing to lose, they open up a little bit in Canada. open the game because I see these girls play in Canada where they're back against the wall and the handbrakes is off. Stop tie the girls, man. Let the girls make the girls play, man. The only way them going to improve and get better is them to express themselves. Is no way Cameron, Bunny Shaw, all of these players. That's why they're so good at their college because they have a system around them to get the best out of them. We don't have that in the national program.
Yeah, well, something needs to change because just like you said, our competitors are getting better, and they're breathing down our necks and they're going to want to get the better of us. They're going to, let's remind ourselves there, Ryan, that we're now, this is our last friendly until we get into the competitive stuff, because before the year closes off, we're looking at World Cup qualifiers. I think people have forgotten that these games that we have seen over the last couple of matches, over the last couple of international breaks, so like your France, your South Africa, your Peru, your Mexico, your USA, and now your England. Ryan, these are supposed to be preparation games for our World Cup qualifiers.
Preparation, and many of the time, some of the key players are not there.
Missing.
So you tend to just switch on, just turn on the light, just switch it on when you first play.
No,
it's always to take time, man.
Handicap in your team. I just kind of feel like they've got that trait similar to their male counterparts where the reggae boys are concerned, where don't believe for 1 second that you're too good to be true. Don't believe for 1 second that you're the best team in the Caribbean region or in CONCACAF or one of the best teams in CONCACAF, because someone's going to clip our wings, Ryan. If we don't gather ourselves and stop being so overhyped and so overconfident and too comfortable, some team is going to take our spot. Yeah, because we're not looking good. And I do have to wonder, like, how do a couple of those players in camp feel when they know that, hey, look, I'm making myself available, because they're all in similar situations there. I'm sure most, if not all of their teams in terms of their respective clubs would rather have them back in training rather than them gearing up to play against Jamaica so soon to preseason, right? Because they're probably thinking, we don't want you to pick up an untimely injury. But these girls have still made themselves available. So what's the excuse? What's the excuse? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Even our midfield, and we look at our midfield as it relates to the squad announcement there that was read out by Busby, we're in balance. Yeah. Our midfield is in balance.
Yeah, we haven't upgraded midfield from last World Cup. And that's the problem we have. Not much quality coming from after the World Cup to challenge these girls. Yeah, any team that you have is going to be stagnant if no challenge are in the team. And if coaches, and I see same thing with the man team, if the coaches becomes, they don't want to drop certain players and players who is performing, and you keep going back to the same thing, picking players that not performing, it becomes the players not going to perform. And exactly that we're seeing right now with the girls and stuff. The last really good game that we play, we come from being against South Africa and beat them down at Mobile. Right? That's the last really good competitive game I see the girls play. And even that game, it have to take a second half performance from Khadija Bonisha. Right? So
isn't it? It's like even with Bunisha, it's just pass the ball to Bunny and watch her create magic. You can't rest your loyalties on that. It can't be. You need proper game plan, guys. Proper game plan, and we're not seeing it. And that's the reason why going into this, what's supposed to be for me the biggest international friendly, perhaps in our history, where the Reggae Girls are concerned, I'm just not up for it. I'm not buzzing. I'm not feeling excited. I just feel depleted. Yeah, big match, but definitely small on the feelings. I'm not looking forward to it. Of course, I would love for the girls to go out there and cause an upset, because as I said, this one here will be hosted at the King Power Stadium, and I think it's a game that favors the Lionesses, to be honest with you, because it is their final match before the UEFA Women's Euros 2025. And as I said, they are the reigning queens of the tournament.
They're using this game to get a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence that
exactly.
They setting the tempo. But what can we expect from, we pay a lot of attention on the Jamaican team. What we can expect in from the Chi Lion. We know they are the defending champion, and they're well comfortable right now, and stuff. What should we expect?
And in terms of from England, I'm expecting them to do what they need to do, which is to sign off on a high. They need to sign off on a high because they have some work to do as it relates to bouncing back. They're coming into this game, having closed off on the UEFA Women's Nations League with a 2-1 defeat at the hands of Spain. So they're coming into this match on the back foot of a defeat, and they're going to want to close off on their preparation for defending their crown on a high. They're not going to want to go into the Euros with 2 losses in their back pocket. They want to finish things off on a high to increase their confidence so that they're in top shape to hold on to their
Imagine
crown.
me, I wait for this guy, and this guy really put that guy in the chair over me. I'm done with this guy, man. I'm really done with this guy, man. I'm sick. I'm going to tell him off, man. I'm going to tell him off, man. I'm really sorry about that, man. I'm been waiting like from 6 o'clock, and this guy said 2 more, and then this guy come after me, and him go put him in the chair. A while ago, me I wait for this guy. He wait for the guy about 5 minutes before him put in the chair. Why you couldn't do that for me the same thing?
Favoritism. Favorite customer.
Probably because I'm coming every 1 6 months.
There you go. Yeah, when you said you was going to the barber shop, I'm thinking, aren't you bald? But yeah, well, there you go. It's probably because you come once in a blue moon, so he's not really
Buddy,
fussed about.
what's up, buddy?
Let me mute Ryan for a second. He's talking to his barber there, guys. So yeah, guys, I think this is a game here that definitely favors England more than ourselves. I'm disappointed. As I said, big up to the girls there in camp. It's no shade on them. When I say I'm disappointed with the squad list, it's definitely not a shade on them. Utmost of respect to the girls who have made themselves available. Like I said, as it relates to the girls who are unavailable, unless it's a reason that is in relation to you needing to take care of your mental well-being or physical well-being, or you're coming off, nursing an injury and you don't want to rush things and so on. What's your excuse? Because I don't think your excuse is good enough. Not only have you let down your teammates, but I also think that you're letting down your fans as well. And perhaps, I don't know, maybe you've got some deal there with Busby where Busby has said to you that when you are available, you will receive a call up. And if that is the message that he has sent to some of you, then he has sent you the wrong message, because he's made you think that whatever decision you decide to make as it relates to your commitment and your availability, you're pretty much guaranteed a call up. And I don't think any player should be guaranteed a call up. I couldn't care less who you are. I don't care how important you think you are. No player should be guaranteed a call up to play for the national team. But we will see how this one pans out. Let me know what you guys make of the bench. I think Ryan's still talking.
Yeah, Crystal. Yeah, say about the Chi Lion. Sorry about that, man. I get distracted.
No, that's okay. I said let me know in the comment section, guys, what you guys make of the midfield, not the bench. Let me know what you guys make of the midfield, because again, I'm looking at the midfield, and the midfield does look largely in balance. So let me know what you guys make of the midfield.
We can get good midfield, because the same issue we have, because I don't know, man. I think that is that position.
Yeah.
That's that hybrid where players have to use they make quick decision, and we struggle to get good quality midfield, both on the men's and women's side, man.
Thing is, this is where I feel like Busby is giving me a head scratcher, right? Because hear me out. Now, it's not
what other option we have? What other option we have in diaspora?
No, this is why I'm saying that it's a head scratcher, because surely, for me, the midfield is the most important part of the field, right? Because for me, that's your heartbeat. It's the one part of the field that gets you ticking, and in essence, it bridges the gap between the defense and the attack. So you must get it right. There has to be some stability there. It can't be in balance. And I'm thinking to myself, if we're in a midfield crisis, which I think it's safe to say we do have a midfield crisis, and you can look at the last couple of windows in terms of the games there that the girls have played, you know, from, let's say, maybe from Peru onwards, so Peru, Mexico, subsequently the USA. I think it's safe to say that we do have a midfield crisis. So if we do have a midfield crisis, shouldn't we naturally look to midfielders to solve those issues rather than putting in makeshift players, rather than playing players out of positions? Shouldn't we look for traditional midfielders, be it creative midfielders or defensive midfielders? Now I'm going to say something that's a little bit controversial, but where is Chinelu Asher in all of this? And I say it's probably controversial because yes, some people are going to say that Chinelu has lost her touch, her legs are gone, she's not the same player as she was from yesteryear. And yes, some of that does hold water, but Chinelu has been a loyal servant to Jamaica. She's been part of the core essence pertaining to why we are where we are currently. And quite similar to a couple of those core players there who have been part of the successful World Cup qualifying campaign from the 2019 cycle through to the present. A couple of those players there who are repeatedly given call-ups, similar to Chinelu Asher, they are not the same player that they were yesteryear. A couple of them, similar to Chinelu Asher, they have lost their legs, but they continue to get a call-up to prove themselves or to redeem themselves. So I'm thinking, what's the difference between them and Chinelu Asher? I'm not saying that Asher is going to be the problem solver, but I think for someone who has been a loyal servant, she does deserve a call-up. Again, I'm not saying that she's going to be the one to solve our midfield issue, but she is a natural midfielder. And another player there that it scratches my head why she's not being called up is Izzy Grooves. And similar to
Yeah, in the
Chinelu,
group has been consistent, scoring a lot of goal, man. Yeah.
Izzy Grooves,
And
where is
yeah,
Grooves?
hey, that's a valid. She young, she physical, she strong,
Where is Izzy Grooves?
and she
Izzy
did
Grooves.
very well in the Gold Cup, Crystal Gold Cup qualifying. They just call her one time and not giving her a game, man.
And that's what I am saying to myself. That's what I'm saying. Where is Izzy Groove? Okay, you can argue and say that Chinelu as again, she's lost her legs, she's not the same player, but so is a couple of her other teammates, or should I say former teammates. They're in the same bracket as Chinelu Asher, but they continue to receive chance after chance after chance. And again, I'm saying, so why isn't, if you're saying that Chinelu Asher is no longer good enough to get a call up, okay, fair enough. Can't tell the coach what to do. Never will try to tell the coach what to do. But where is Izzy Grooves? Why isn't Izzy Grooves getting a call up? She's playing regular football. She's playing regular football for her club. And today they had a game and she bagged a brace. So it's not as if she's rusty. She's fully match fit. And her club are set to play Champions League football. So she's doing everything within her power to say, look at me. And when you talk about merits, I think she ticks several boxes as it relates to what warrants a player to get a call up. We're in a midfield crisis and you're telling me that we can't call up Izzy Grooves? How do you explain that one to me, Ryan? Or anyone in the comment section, please explain that one to me, because maybe I'm a little bit slow. Like, please, I think Ryan's a little bit busy for the time being, guys. But again, as it relates to those two players there that I've named, so Chinelu Asher and Izzy Grooves, yes, I don't agree with
Yeah, but Crystal,
go on.
and you know the funny thing about you mentioned Izzy, she been very consistent at her club, and
Absolutely.
she's
She's the captain.
she's definitely one of the players that really stand out in the Gold Cup when the girls have the issue with the administration. She slot into that midfield under Xavier Gilbert. And I'm saying, what she have to do, she's a destroyer. And not only that, she's very quick, she's strong, she going into tackle, right? And I'm saying, we short of good quality all in midfield. Different from Spence when she is not there, right? Spence is a more box to box, going to be creative, scoring goal. But you need that somebody who to sit to protect the back four, and she play very physical. And I'm saying she's very young. Why she cannot get a look in? But even when she get a look in, they don't play her. She give her a look at 5 or 6 minutes, and we need strength in the midfield. And it blew my mind away why she cannot get a run into the team, and she's very young. She's at the right age for build the team from midfield.
Ryan, she's up in Ireland right now. If they had called her over the weekend or Thursday or midweek and say, hey, we need you, I guarantee you she'd find herself in Leicester. She's available. It's not as if she's injured. She's available. She's good enough to be the captain for her club. She's good enough to be preparing herself for Champions League football, but she's not good enough to get a call up to her national team. That doesn't make no sense. That does not make no sense. She's helped her club to qualify for UEFA Women's Champions League for the first time ever in their history, but she's not good enough to get a call up to the national team. And this is a club that she captains. It's not making any sense. Like, as I said, you know, rather than putting players in makeshift positions, call on a Chinelu Asher as a loyal servant, because I would rather a Chinelu Asher on one toe than to call up players who are showing me some questionable commitment. Yes, I said it. I'd rather Chinelu Asher on one toe than players coming into this national team who have questionable commitments. That's what I would look
by
at.
the way, sister, my American barber say you're better than me. You know? Say hi, my buddy.
Hello.
Hi, Moroccan Baba. How are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. You're very good.
Thank you. Make sure you take care of my brother. Don't make him look bad.
Yeah, no, no, no. For sure, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
He just bantered me, so my team not good. We get 4. We are not good. We are not like Morocco.
fair enough. He's not lying, is he? He's not lying. So yeah, Ryan. I mean, I'm hoping that the coach fix this, you know, because I think we need easy grooves. We need to call back, and the midfield needs a little bit of groove factor. And I'm disappointed that we can't call up Izzy. Like, what is this? Is this something personal? Like, is there something going on that we don't know? Like, does the presence of a Chinelu Asher and an Izzy Grooves make certain people feel uncomfortable? And that's just my opinion. That's a question, by the way, nothing factual. You know, Ryan, because it's a head scratcher. I don't understand what's going on.
And Ashley is a very good, strong leader. Right? Well, Mala Sutman retire?
Marlon Sutton is retired, and you know what? I'm really upset about. I'm gonna turn my attention to the comment section in a second. All right, guys, I'm gonna give you guys your individual big up. Steve Power, big up yourself. Thank you for your donation. I'm really upset with how we've treated Chinelu Asher Ryan, and I will always say that I am upset until we do the right thing. Again, I'm not saying that Chinelu Asher is going to be the answer to our midfield crisis, Ryan. But for goodness sake, she's not the only player
They said she's get a little bit slow, man.
Ryan, she's not the only player. She's not the only player. What does this come down to favoritism? Chinelu Asher is not the only player that's lost her spark. She's not the only player. So I'm looking at Chinelu Asher, and I think that the reason why she's not being called up is unrelated to football. I don't think it's a footballing decision. And I just kind of feel like maybe they're not aware of Izzy Grooves. Maybe they just completely forgotten about Izzy Grooves because...
Of course, how comes that? And the coach is from Canada and she's from Canada.
I don't know, because if they've not forgotten about Izzy Groove, then it must be something that we don't know of. It must be something outside of football, because for football, she's doing the necessary that warrants a call up, in my opinion. So I don't know. Those are two of the when I looked at the squad list, I was just like, okay, you know, I think, you know, again, as it relates to Asher, we've got to remind ourselves, guys, that player like the Swaby sisters and your Chinelu Asher and, you know, players of that ilk, they pretty much have prepped so others can walk and run. You know, if it wasn't for players like your Chinelu Asher, we wouldn't be sat here on the eve of a game, on the eve of a match day where we're set to take on the queens of Europe, that be it the Lionesses. You know, she's been a loyal servant for Jamaica when she played for us. And the way that she's been treated, like I said, guys, it does not sit well with me. It can't just be a case of we will only turn to Chinelu Asher and your Easy Grooves. Yes, Marla Sweatman has retired, but it can't be a case of we only turn to the latter when we are on our face. Because as Ryan said, you know, the last time we saw Easy Groove and Chinelu Asher was back when we played against Chile. That was the last time we saw those two players there, and that was not a great show of performance as a collective. And we know the reason for it. We know about the politics and all of that I don't even want to tap into. So I don't think that she deserves a call up. I don't think that those two players there deserves a call up, especially when I'm looking at this coach and he's calling up players with questionable commitments. And that's probably rubbed a couple people up the wrong way. But when you are, in my opinion, repeatedly on a number of different occasions picking your club over your country, that tells me that there's a layer of questionable commitments. And I don't need to be a reggae girl. I don't need to be close to the action. I don't need to be a fly on the wall to see that there's some questionable committed players there that's being repeatedly given a chance. But for Busby, anyone who has contact with him, tap him on his shoulder and ask him what's going on with Izzy Grooves. Why isn't Izzy Grooves being given a call up? Because they need to correct that one. They definitely need to correct that one. As I said, she's the captain of her team in Ireland, and she has helped them to create history. And they're soon going to be playing some Champions League football. And it's disappointing that she can't get a look in the team. It's really disappointing. As I said, she's helped to create history for her team, making sure that for the first time ever, they're going to be tasting some Champions League football. And what I can do is bring up that information there on the screen in front of you so that you guys can make a note as it relates to when to tune into that Champions League action there. Where is let's go ahead and do something quickly. So what I'm going to do, Ryan's off the screen. So let me go ahead and change my screen, and I'm going to show you guys some information there as it relates to Izzy Grooves and her team. As I said, she had a game today. She scored a brace. I think her team won something like 6-0, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, they battered their opponents. I'm trying to find that information there. Okay, there we go. Let's see. We give you guys some information there as it relates to Izzy Grooves. Let's scroll down. As you can see here, it says there UEFA Women's Champions League first and second qualifying rounds. The first and second qualifying rounds have been made to begin the new look competition. So we've got Izzy's team. Where are they? I think they're in Group 5. Here they are. They're in Group 5, and their game is a semifinal on the 30th of July. They're going to be playing against Cardiff City. So they're going to be playing against Cardiff City on the 30th of July. So do keep your eyes peeled on that one, and let's see how Izzy and her team get on against Cardiff City. So let me turn my attention quickly there to you guys in the comment section. I don't want you to think that I've forgotten about you. Young Kings Entertainment, big up yourself. Mr. Jackson, big up yourself. Conrad, Danny Dread, see Irie Vibes, Ball of Fire, big up yourself. Cranky, big up yourself also. And let's see. I think what we should do there, guys, is continue with the rest of that squad announcement from Busby, because I did go off track. So I guess we could just continue listening with the announcement, and then I'm going to segue into the pre-match press conference. Okay.
Open the floor.
That's absolutely true. And as it relates to Bunny Shaw, I totally get it. As I've said on other live streams, what we don't want to do is rush Bunny Shaw back. Obviously, we have seen what happened last year. I guess you could call it some deja vu in relation to how the season ended for Bunny from last season to this season's campaign as it relates to injuries. So we don't want to aggravate that. We want to make sure that she's in good form, not so much for her club, but also subsequently for us as we know, edge closer and closer to those all-important World Cup qualifiers. So I get the omission of Bunny Shaw. It makes completely perfect sense. As I've said on other live streams, it does not make sense rushing her back. Definitely don't make sense rushing her back by any stretch of the imagination. Are you telling me that you guys can't hear the head coach? Is it just Ira vibes? Let me know in the comment section. It says no audio. Can you guys hear the head coach? I'm listening to his the questions there from his squad announcement, and as I said, after that we're going to jump into the press conference, the pre-match press conference. As it relates to Peyton, she is nursing a comeback, so she's unavailable due to a recovery. So she's nursing her comeback. So not sure when we're going to be seeing Peyton. So you guys can't hear it? You guys can't hear? So all along you guys could not hear? Why did you let me sit here like in silence, listening to it by myself? I'm gonna go ahead and play it once more. I'm not sure why you guys can't hear it, but I'm gonna go ahead and play it once more. Let me know if you can hear it in about 2 seconds, okay? Hear it now? How are you guys not hearing it? Are you sure you're not hearing it? Really? How is it possible? Let's go ahead and how are you guys not hearing that? Seems like we've got some I am so sorry. Oh wow, why didn't you guys tell me from the start? How are you guys just sat there just how are you guys just sat there not telling me that? Thank you. I'm not sure why you're not hearing it. So you're telling me you didn't hear it last night? Don't tell me that you guys have just been sat here listening to me, watching me in silence. I mean, thank you for the love, thank you for the dedication. But how are you guys not hearing that? Should I try another way? I'm laughing. It's not funny at all. Should we try this another way? Let's see if we can try this another way. Let's go and try this another way. See if we can listen to this press conference another way, guys. All right, I'm gonna try something and hope that they are not petty enough to give a copyright. Should we try this another way? Let me know what you guys want me to do. Should I try it another way? Do you guys reckon if I play a different way, they might give me a well, they shouldn't give me a copyright because either way it would have been played. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and try a different way for you guys. Bear with me. You guys are far too nice. What the hell? Okay, so before I take this UEFA stuff off the screen, this is for Izzy Grooves. Again, her club there, they're going to be Athlone Town. They play in Ireland. They're going to be taking on Cardiff City, right? So there's some Champions League action there, Women's Champions League qualifying round. And do keep an eye on that game. There's semi-final, and it is in the pipeline for July the 30th. So Izzy Groove will be tasting some Champions League actions with Athlone Town AFC. So let's keep an eye on that one. So all right, let's try a different way. Wow, you guys are really dedicated. I feel like an absolute mug. How am I going to do this for you guys? I cannot believe you guys didn't hear a thing all along. Has it been like that on all the other live streams and you guys have just kept quiet? Why are you being nice? Don't do that. All right, let's see what the Jamaica Football Federation is saying. Hopefully they don't get upset with me. You never really know with these things, do you? All right, I just hope they won't get upset. Okay, let's skip this. I am not watching this from the beginning.
Good afternoon.
Okay, let me play the first bit. Can you guys
depending on which time zone you are in currently? Thank you very much for being here with us for this squad announcement press conference for the Reggae Girls as they get set to face England in a friendly international on June 29 in Leicester. We're joined with the head coach of the senior women's national team, Coach Hubert Busby, who will go into the squad. But before he goes into that, he'll be providing some opening remarks before we put the squad on the screen. So
talk to me, guys. Can you hear Simon? Let me know if you guys can hear Mr. Preston. If not, I will have to try a different way. You're good. All right, now we're cooking. All right. How do I do this? Hold on, let's try something. Let's try something on screen. All right, let's just go with it this way. I'm really sorry.
Okay, Coach, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well, and we look forward to hearing from you in a moment.
Listen to the audio already, so let's fast forward and listen to the rest of what Busby has to say once we get these ads out the way. My apologies there, guys. Let's
back from those sort of long-term injuries to the first time they come back and playing matches or with their national team. That's always reserved for their club. And with preseason on the horizon, the most important thing, again, for us is to make sure, and for Bunny, is to make sure that she's healthy going into the start of her to the first time they come back and playing for her with Man City is to get back healthy. As you guys know, she had a long-term injury. I think she's on her way back to full strength. But as I've kind of alluded to in the past, it's very rare that clubs allow players coming back from those sort of long-term injuries to the first time they come back and playing matches or with their national team. That's always reserved for their club. And with preseason on the horizon, the most important thing, again, for us is to make sure, and for Bunny, is to make sure that she's healthy going into the start of her season with the Women's Super League, and obviously for us to make sure that she's healthy heading into the World Cup qualifiers. So I think that's the priority. Unfortunately, with Taylor Hines, we're still waiting for that final documentation that needs to come in to allow her to play in Type A friendlies, which is what we're waiting on. So that's where it is. And as for the other player, at this particular point in time, there really isn't any update on that player at all.
Okay, thank you very much, David. Go ahead, Dre. Good afternoon to you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Simon. Good afternoon, Coach. Dre here from Dre Anywhere the Sports.
Good afternoon, Dre.
All right. So, Coach, we saw where you weren't able to travel to the US, or you wasn't present in the US the last couple of friendlies that we played in the US. Now, are you a part of the delegation for the England trip? Will you be there also?
We're currently in England right now. We start training tomorrow. The players have arrived, so everyone's arrived. The staff last night. The players in today. So yes, we're looking forward to training tomorrow, and everyone's arrived safe, sound, no travel issues. Obviously, it's a long flight, depending on where players were coming in, but just had a meal. Everyone's happy and everyone's ready to go. We'll obviously have some jet lag, ease them in tomorrow, and I'm sure by the end of the week they'll be raring to go.
Okay, and Simon, can I get one more question in, please?
Go ahead, no problem.
All right, Coach. Do you get a sense of frustration with the processing of player documentation, as far as when all the documents are in, and then it's up to Pika to make the next step?
Yeah, listen, obviously those things are outside of my control, and we always say to players and even staff, the idea always is to control the controllables, things that are in your staff. Do what we can, try to do our due diligence, get things in time, follow up, pass in the required letters of support, whatever is needed. And then obviously we allow and support, Pika to do what they need to do, but that's a process that, we clearly do not have. So yes, from a overall perspective, yeah, it's frustrating because obviously you want the players to be able to be embedded in those who've declared and committed to play. So yes, it's a frustrating process, but it's a process that we have to allow to play out. And so really what we want to do is ensure that everything's in place outside of this window heading into qualifiers. And so I know all the necessary parties and those who are able will do their best to work with Pika to make sure we get all those documents in order prior to October.
Eddie Vision, go ahead, Eddie.
This is how
So I'm going to pause it there, guys, because I obviously I'm trying to avoid these copyright violations. So let's continue.
Afternoon, Simon. Afternoon, Coach. Coach, we've been playing high-level games against some big countries, quality opposition. Not doing so well. What is the plan for this England game? Is it to continue to experiment or give experience? What is the plan, really?
Well, I think first and foremost, you play the games that are presented to you. Ideally, we want to mix them up, but when these games come about, either you play them or maybe you don't play sometimes. And so it's not always as easy as compared to maybe, when you have Nation League games or games built into your schedule or part of the calendar. That doesn't exist on the women's side. So you play the games as they are presented to you. And so, yeah, there's some difficult decisions to be made at that particular point in time. Do you play a game, you skip out? Without a doubt, Eddie, yes, we've played the toughest schedule in CONCACAF within the last calendar year. I think, look at it in terms of coefficiency ranking, within the top 10 of the world. But we haven't shied away from people. And I think, these games, in terms of giving a lot of our younger players the opportunity to experience, the high pressure environments of playing the top 10 teams in the world, I feel is only going to put them in good stead. And once you kind of reflection, and yes, no one wants to lose football matches, but I think when we're able to extract what we see and what we get in ways that sometimes the normal supporter might not get, we're taking away a lot of positives from it because we're increasing the pool and giving a lot of younger players a great opportunity to play these matches. And leading up to the World Cup, when the team went under to Australia prior to the World Cup in Australia, the pre-tournament a little bit. I think it was in February of 2023. Those games we didn't necessarily do well also, but those games were tough, gave a lot of experience to some of those players, and it obviously put us in good later on in the year. And so nothing like this, that's for sure.
Thing is, I'm just hoping that as it relates to those younger players, they're being given a chance. Of course, I'm happy for them. Long may it continue. I do hope that they are not just being given the opportunity because the coach has no choice but to turn to them. I do hope that if they go out there and give a terrific account of themselves, then they are, in essence, earned their stripes to another call up. I hope it's not a case of thank you, but you're no longer an option for us because others are now available. So just like what Ryan said, I think when you look at our team, a couple of these girls are way too comfortable. You're far too comfortable. I'm just hoping that the players who are here now give a couple of those girls there something to ponder over. Again, yes, some of those girls, I'm not really sure what every player's reason is for not being in the squad for this game against England. But if it's not a reason that is understandable, such as you being unavailable due to, needing a well-being break, be it physical or mental, or even needing to just spend some time with your family because they are human beings at the end of the day. If it's a case of you're choosing your club over your country, then I'm not going to feel sorry for you, and I hope that someone takes your spot.
But we're here in England. We've got great support. We're looking forward to the match, and we know the players are looking forward to the opportunity for sure.
Eddie, you can have your follow-up before we go to Karen. Go ahead, Eddie, with your second.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Yes, coach. Playing these big games, we're still without, I would say, our first team. We're still missing a few key players. How frustrating is that?
Yeah, it is. It is. But then there's other opportunities for players to come up. And as we see, look, the reality is when things, you have to extract the positive, right? And at the end of the day, we are missing players. But, what happens if we're missing players in October? Things outside of our control.
I hear it. I agree with him. He's right. But the thing is, because we are missing players repeatedly, we have yet to solidify a plan A, let alone a plan B. So if this is supposed to be a plan B, what does our plan A look like? Because the plan B so far isn't convincing, and the plan B requires the involvement of much of our core players. So I agree, but I'm still left feeling quite depleted, not really sure where the dose of optimism is going to come from, because we don't have a plan A, let alone a plan B, and that's something that we're guilty of from the last World Cup cycle. It's one thing that I criticize the Don for, big up Lauren Donaldson, but one of my biggest criticism of him and my gripe with him is that he did not give us a plan B, barely gave us a plan A, irrespective of what we were able to achieve. Of course, take nothing away from him. World Cup round of 16, history created, but we didn't have a plan B, and it showed by the time the Olympic qualifiers came around. It showed. We showed our hands that we don't have a plan B. So hopefully this time round, I'm saying hopefully, but it's pretty much we're pretty much in the same position, aren't we? Can't solidify. We have yet to solidify a plan A, and plan B is non-existent.
Well, we've now going into that first round, we've given experience to players, and our younger
on the screen. I'm so sorry. I'm keep on forgetting to answer you. The game will be played tomorrow, which means on the Sunday, and of course they're going to be taking on the reigning European queens, that be it the Lionesses, England.
Players, and sometimes when you do have those younger players, there's a little of that exuberance and excitement, that energy they bring. Yes, they're going to sometimes make mistakes, but they're growing. Every time they come in, they're growing. So it is frustrating not to have a lot of our experienced players, but a lot of our experienced players as well are coming off of very, very long seasons.
And this is the thing that I'm going to push back with Busby. It's like, coach, I'm not trying to have that as an excuse. That's nonsense. That's a load of nonsense. There's a couple players there which I read out to you guys who have come off the back end of a hectic season. And then, you know, when you think back to that, what was presented to us as a pre-match press conference in the game ahead of the USA game, paraphrasing when we spoke to our captain in the absence of Khadija Banishaw, and the question to her was you know, in regards to the hectic season and, you know, etc. Quite clearly it came from the horse's mouth, like Alison Swaby said, paraphrasing, that it's the nature of the game. We knew what we signed up for. And again, I'm sorry, but if players like your Alison Swaby, I should say the Swaby sisters, can make themselves available, to each their own, they're human beings at the end of the day. And if they, as it relates to what Busby is talking about, you know, nothing more than, let's not try to come up with think pieces. Let's just focus on what the coach is saying there as it relates to those hectic season. I'm sorry, but the Swaby sisters have had one of the most hectic season. They've had a heavy season. They've been faced with relegation battles with their respective clubs, the Foxes and the Eagles. And unfortunately, it was Crystal Palace's, it was Alison Swaby's Crystal Palace that faced the drop. And you look elsewhere where, you know, you look at players like Tiffany Cameron with Rhea Batiste. You look at Kayla McKenna. She came into camp, and then after that, I believe it was announced that she's moved to another club. And then, you know, the intricacies and the complication that comes with moving from one club to another. You know what goes on with these players when they're dealing with relegation battles, and not just those players there, but players like your Sade playing in domestic cup competition, as was. Not only was Crystal Palace and Alison Swaby competing for the possibility of not being relegated, but they were also looking at domestic cup competitions similar to Sade. But guess what? They made themselves available. And yes, I get it. Everyone is different. The body takes things differently and so on. But I'm sorry, but my captain, in the absence of Khadija Banishaw, said is paraphrasing, is part of football. We all know what we signed up for. So the fact that a couple of those players there have made themselves available, I do feel sorry for a couple of the players there. I do feel sorry for, let's say, a Cameron, which I think is out of favor, and she seems as if, based off the late call up there for the I think it was the USA match, it does seem as if she's a tad bit out of favor, and she's turned to, if worst case scenario, with the greatest of respect to the player, but I feel sorry because she's showing us her commitment. But others who have questioned the commitment, to me, they are above her in the pecking order. So I'm sorry, Busby, I'm not accepting this.
You know, their clubs have asked them to, and they need that mandatory break. As you
and this whole buddying with the clubs, at what point do you stop? At what point do you say to the players, forget the clubs, because if it's an international break, they have to let the players go? At what point do you put your foot down and say, look, it's Jamaica or nothing? You're either in or you're out. Because a couple of these players are flip-flopping. They're doing the little hopscotch. When are you going to stop the hopscotch? When are you going to stop your flip-flopping and play football? You're either in or you're out. You're in or you are out. And when is Busby going to stop buddying up to the clubs? At what point are these clubs going to turn around and do you a favor? Because I would argue and say that you've done a certain club a favor in the last, I think it was maybe 2 windows ago, if memory serves me well. Why can't that club now turn around and say, okay, he scratched our backs when we were depleted with injuries and he allowed us to keep our player? Why can't they then turn around and say to you, you know what, you can have her on this occasion because you're preparing for your World Cup qualifiers. This is our last match until we dive into those all-important World Cup qualifiers. It is supposed to be one hand can't clap. I scratch my back, you scratch yours. But it seems as if Busby is pondering up to these clubs, giving them what they want, but they don't seem to be giving him what he wants. So this respect that he's got going for these clubs, it seems to be one-way traffic, if you ask me.
You can see, and not just us. That's just not us. All the other nations were playing this late into the season. You know, we're not playing, you know, obviously a competition. So again, these clubs pay these players. And the reality is that we try to work with them in terms of their periodization, in terms of what's healthy for them.
Yeah, the clubs do play the players, but at the end of the day, even when we have a FIFA window, you're still trying to ponder up to the club. You're still trying to give the club what they want instead of saying, "I'm going to take what I want." I'm not liking this little one-sided relationship with Busby and a particular club, if I'm being honest, and allow you guys to figure out who that particular club is. And hopefully he will stop, because we're looking at World Cup qualifiers, and if we don't get our acts together, I'm not convinced that we qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup for 2027 taking place in Brazil. Or bare minimum, if you're going to keep on making excuses for a certain player, then surely at some point you have to question what impact about a certain player or players. You have to question what impact, if any, will this have on the dressing room. Or players going to be looking and thinking, how comes you can just come and play if and when you feel like it? Because that's how it's looking. That's how it's looking.
For them, what's needed for them to go into their pre-seasons. And sometimes those things, again, are outside of the federation's control, because, you know, we have to pick a squad based on the players that are available. And sometimes the discussions are made prior to who can come in. And sometimes they're like I said, out of our control. But yeah, we don't want to be missing those players with them. But again, we're taking a lot of information, a lot of learnings, and carrying it forward for sure.
All right, let's go to Karen now. Go ahead, Karen. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Simon. Hello. Coach Busby, I have a concern as it relates to the local Premier League, which I know is going on now. And I know you don't reside in Jamaica, but I know that you have members of your coaching staff that live in Jamaica. I want to know how much of, obviously the league is not at the level that we would like it to be at, but I just wanted to know how much of an attention you're paying to that league, and if you see any players that you think with the proper coaching and development could see their way into the national program.
I used to worry about losing my hair, but then one day I was like, screw it, and I shaved.
And yeah, I agree. That's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on, most certainly, as it relates to the FIFA windows, because it's happened already. Club come to you and say that they want to hold on to their player because they're depleted. As I said back then, I couldn't care less about them and their injuries. I'm concerned about me and my country and us putting ourselves in the best possible position to where we're ready to compete for those all-important World Cup qualifiers. So I think this is something that we should definitely keep our eyes on. So the next window, I'm sure, to be honest with you, make no mistakes that all the players there that, you know, use the silly little excuse, the clubs have injuries and all that nonsense, they're not going to be unavailable when it comes to the meat of the matter. Mark my words.
In Jamaica, so
I'm sorry, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Their way into the national program.
Well, I think the last 6 months, I've actually have resided in Jamaica, so I'm
sorry, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Loving Draxall. So I have been. So I think I have been following and been keeping a close eye on the league. There's players in there weekly that we're able to watch. I think the league is doing a good job. Even when I can't be there necessarily in person, we've been able to pick up on games we've had. So obviously I am close contact with obviously Coach Gilbert as well, and the players who are there. Some of those players who are not just in that league, but some of the younger ones, some of them who've come home from the holidays. I've been following them and also assisting them to continue their education and their footballing ventures come the fall. So when they leave, the season's ended, we're helping them get the scholarship, some of them to go overseas. We've also had conversations with professional clubs with one or two of them to keep their eye on them. So we're very engaged with the players in that league. I think what's hard to gauge sometimes is where those players are at. But you know, the players that we have been speaking to, they know that they're being watched and they know they're being monitored, and we'll continue to do that. And it's going to be a process, as you know, Karen. It's going to be a process to be able to continue to develop and build that league. And I think it's one that we're all committed to. So you have to be patient. I think it's important that the players know that they have to keep on working. I think it's important that the environments they're in keep on improving. So everybody, as I always alluded to, has a collective responsibility in ensuring that the environments that these players in improve. Facilities, coaching, standards, safety, all those things. So yes, we're all invested, and we're all definitely paying attention to those local players, and we're saying to those local players, continue to do well. But as we're going through again, there's been some of those players have come out, and some of those players have been provided the feedback in terms of what's needed for them to make the next step into this squad.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Do we have any further questions? We have time that we could take 2 more. Again, you raise your hand and indicate. Jason Hall, I know you just joined in a few minutes ago, but if you have a question, you can proceed.
Yes, Jason Hall, Jason Buna TV here. Coach, seeing the squad here, and just had a question. When we go to the game in England, in the last few games, the girls have had to play the games without you present. Will you be present with the team in England for this fixture?
Yeah, I think, as we said, I think you just jumped on. I alluded to we are in England currently right now. Everyone has arrived safe and sound. Just finished dinner. Everyone's in good spirits. Everyone arrived safe. So we'll hit the pitch tomorrow. And we've already started preparation the last 2 days, putting the final touches on from a coaching staff perspective. So all excited. Great facilities at St. George's here. We're spending the same time with the English national team, so really appreciative of the hospitality of England and their wonderful facility here at St. George's. So we're in a great place. Like I said, we're looking forward to getting at it tomorrow morning.
Do you have a follow-up, Jason?
No, I'm good, Simon. Thanks. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you very much to members of the media. Thank you very much to Coach Busby as well. This recording.
That one there's come to an end. Let me know if you guys want me to jump right into the pre-match press conference. That was the squad announcement. That was the press conference for the squad announcements. So the pre-match press conference here is about under 15 minutes. Let me know if you want me to go ahead and play that one. Or if you're not interested in listening to the pre-match press conference, then that's fine by me. But let me know. I'll take your guidance. Just say yes or no in the comment section. And I can bring that up on the screen for you guys. All right. So I'm going to wait a little while because maybe you guys don't want to listen to it. And I'm cautious of your time. I don't want to take up much more of your time if I don't need to. So do let me know. The last win comes back in February. February, we defeated Peru 3-2. So that was our last victory. And subsequently, we've gone on to losing a string of matches or a hat-trick of matches, 3-0 against Mexico, 4-0 against Mexico, as well as a 4-0 against the United States. So let me know in the comment section, all right? I don't want to go no further. In the meantime, I need to get my charger because I am on 4%. So let me know in the comment section, guys. If you want me to continue with I'm losing train of thought. If you want me to continue with the pre-match press conference, let me know, all right? Give me just 1 second. I'll be back, okay? You guys, what? You guys don't, okay, thanks. It's been a while. Yes, it has been a while. Let me know if you guys want that press conference though. I don't want to waste your time. I've been talking to you guys for what, over 1 hour and some 30 minutes. So let me know, okay? If you guys want me to stop or if you want me to continue. Damn, 1 moment, guys. Why does this keep happening to me? I think you guys need to help me to invest in a couple of my equipments there, backup equipment. All right, we're good to go. So you're saying continue cash pot. You're saying that's the cash pot. Okay, all right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and play that one for you guys. I think by the time I finish, you guys should have a show by Ryan coming up, okay? Just need my brain to think. Oh, okay. Yeah, now I know what I want to do. Right, so let's go ahead and listen to that.
Working with the clubs.
That pre-match press conference there. Just pause that. We don't really need to hear all of that. Just let me know if you guys can't hear anything. I'm about to maximize the screen in front of you. So if you can't hear it, then let me know in the comment section, okay?
Hello, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, depending on the time zone that you're in. Welcome to the pre-match press conference for the Reggae Girls against England, a friendly international. This will be the first time that both teams will be facing each other in senior international women's football. Kickoff is 11 a.m. Jamaica time for the game, so that's 5 p.m. UK time. Before we go into everything, just want to make everybody clear that on Jamaica Football Federation's official YouTube channel, JFF Live, the game will be shown for official members only. We're joined with the head coach of the Jamaica Senior Women's National Team, Coach Hubert Busby, who will provide some opening remarks. And then after that, we'll open the floor for questions for members of the media. So, Coach, over to you. Hope you're doing well.
Thanks, Simon.
Nice.
Okay. Thanks, Simon. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here today. Match day -1. Really looking forward to the match tomorrow. Firstly, just want to say, we've had a good couple of days. Most of the players arrived on Monday, so we're able to get to training on Tuesday. As you can know, with the different periodizations, plans for the players coming off of the long European season, for those who were able to come in and play.
You guys can hear that, right? I'm not sure why it's paused on Mr. Preston, but if you guys can't hear it, I'm listening to it, which is why I'm not speaking with you guys. So if you can't hear it, then let me know. For some reason, it's paused on Simon. Don't ask me why.
And different flights. I think by Wednesday, we've all kind of settled down with the jet lag and time change. So hopefully everybody's all right. 1 or 2 little knocks and stomach viruses, but everything else, for the most part, everyone is good spirits. English FA has been fantastic hosts. We've been at St. George's Park. Obviously, everyone knows that facility, knows how what a great facility that is. So overall, everything's been wonderful so far, and I know the group is looking forward to the match tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Coach. So members of the media, this is your opportunity now. Please use the raise hand icon. And once you're indicated, then you can be able to pose your question to Coach Busby. So we now open the floor for questions. Please raise your hand. And once you're called upon, then you'll be able to pose your question or two to Coach Busby. So we can proceed. All right. Afternoon, Jordan. How are you doing? You can go ahead.
Good afternoon, Jordan James from Backpage Football. Good afternoon, Simon, and great to see you again, Coach. 2 questions from me. Firstly, the Midlands is home to the 2nd largest Jamaican community in the UK after London. We saw some great support for the Reggae Boys for the recent Unity Cup. How important is it for Jamaican fans to come out in large numbers tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it'd be great to obviously have our supporters in our stands. Obviously, we'll still be this sort of minority group. We'll know the main team in England will be in full support. But yeah, I think for all the Jamaican supporters and West Indian supporters who want to come out and come and take in the match will be great. But we know our diaspora. We know we're passionate fans. We know we saw the group that was in London as well, that came out for the Unity Cup, came out in full force and boisterous and really got behind the team. So yeah, it would be great to have that same sort of support tomorrow at the match.
Thank you, Coach. And a second question, can you confirm whether this will be the final friendly match for the Reggae Girls in 2025, or are there more fixtures expected before the year's end?
I think it will be official last fixture, simply because of the FIFA windows don't allow. I think we're trying to work on a few things outside of the windows with possibly a hybrid group of players who are, whether they're kind of a U20, U23 players that we want to take a look at to kind of finalize a roster heading into the World Cup qualifiers. But that is still to be confirmed. But as an official match, this will be the last match before October.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Much appreciated.
It's not good, is it? Officially, basically our last match until our subsequent all-important World Cup qualifiers. And as I said, some moments ago, we have yet to nail down a starting 11, yet to nail down our first team, let alone our plan B. So it's not great, is it? But good luck to the coach and the team.
Let's go to Gregory Bryce, the Jamaica Gleaner. Go ahead, Bryce.
Good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, Coach Busby. Just two questions I wanted to ask. The first one, I'm not sure if I had missed it, but I'm seeing some faces in the camps that I think were not in the first squad that was released. Mainly Romani Wellington and Clara Hall, if I have those names correctly. Are these players integrated and expected to play in the England match, or is it a case where they're just training with the team and getting introduced to the program?
Yeah, no, it's a great question and a great observation from yourself. No, these are English-based players who are coming through the system, through the U20, sort of program that, prospects that it allow for us this opportunity to bring them in, allow this opportunity to, find out a little bit more in terms of our playing model, get to know some of the senior women, and also get to know what it means to be a senior reggae girl. And I think it was really important that, some of these prospects that were available, we thought it was a great idea to come in to train with the senior women. They've done very well, not just to make up the numbers, but, see how they integrate into the larger group and to a larger extent increase our pool of players. And they've had a great week of training. They won't be involved in the match tomorrow, but it was just a really good opportunity to integrate some young players.
And it's happy for the younger players, but how have you managed to think as far as integration, which is great, forward thinking, being proactive and so on, but how have you missed the fact that you could have called upon a Izzy Grooves? I'm not really sure how you managed to miss that one, or perhaps he didn't miss it. Maybe that's probably not a player that he wishes to utilize, which is a little bit mind-blowing. I think she deserves a chance, at least, just like others who have come into the national setup under Busby. I think she deserves a chance to prove that she's worthy enough for a call-up, but that's just me.
Into the program.
I just mail check my marketing.
And a follow-up question on that, regarding new faces. You spoke about a lot of opportunities for new faces to really get chances against top opponents with the absence of the more experienced players. Based on what you've seen in training so far with these girls, what are you expecting from the game tomorrow against England? Is it a case where you hope for them to be competitive, or just rather another experience learning game?
Yeah, it's going to be both. I mean, we have to be competitive. I mean, we're the Jamaican women's national team, and we have pride, and we want to go out there and show the world exactly who we are and what we're about. And the players have expressed that within their group, and we've just talked about we're under no illusions. We know we're playing a reigning European champions and fourth best team in the world, but we're looking forward to the match. And obviously, how the match goes will depend on the substitutes or players that we look to integrate into the game. But that is a major factor, and one of the things that we do want to be conscious of. But obviously the game will dictate whether or not that happens, for sure.
Thank you, Gregory. Much appreciated. Let's hear from Vicky Sparks. Good afternoon, Vicky. I think you're muted, Vicky, but you can go ahead and
Sorry, my laptop decided to die at that precise moment. But thank you, Simon. Thank you so much, Coach, as well for taking the time to talk to us. So yeah, I'm Vicky. I work with the BBC in England. We'll be doing radio commentary of the game tomorrow. Couple of questions from me. Really interested in terms of what you see as the key tactically for you to try and get a result and a good performance against England tomorrow, taking into account their strengths and what's the key for you tactically in terms of how you approach the game? How do you see that?
Yeah, thanks for jumping on, Vicky. I mean, first of all, we won't give up all our secrets here today, but one of the things we definitely need to be aware of, they're so dynamic in attack, and they're a good team that looks to move the ball well. So, we have to be organized, we have to be compact and limit the spaces between the lines for them to play and get at us. But and also when we do have an opportunity, obviously look to threaten them with our power and pace as well. So I'm pretty sure they're wary of that. I believe, Coach Sarah alluded to that as well, that, they know we'll pose a few problems to them if they don't do what they need to do. But I think it's really about us making sure that we're really good and we're organized. And when we are, we've got to be, better than we have been in the last couple of matches in both boxes, in our box and being critical in the opposition box. So, yeah, we need to be organized tomorrow. And obviously, from there, they'll see where we can take our opportunities, on the counter if need be as well,
And obviously there's a lot of WSL interest in terms of Jamaican players. We know Khadija Shaw very well, the likes of Drew Spence and Becky Spencer, who've played in the league for such a long time. I understand that they're not available because of managing workloads and heading into the World Cup qualifiers. Just talk us through the thinking behind that and, how you have to balance those sort of demands as a manager.
Yeah, it's funny. We were discussing it again this morning at breakfast, and making sure that above everything else, the player well-being and safety, and to make sure that they're in the right mind frame after such a long season. I mean, that's really what we're focusing on. We want to make sure that they're right. Within 2 weeks, some of them are reporting right back to preseason again. And to make sure that we have these players in October, we have to listen to them first and foremost. And we've done a really good job in working with the clubs to work with them. I think obviously if this is, qualifying match would be different. They'd all be in. But we really want to manage their workload. We really want to make sure.
Did we do all that fighting with the JFF for nothing? Like, did we pressure the Jamaica Football Federation to give these girls friendlies in their numbers, especially when we're looking at World Cup qualifying campaign for nothing? Kind of feels a little bit like that, if I'm being honest with you.
In the right mental frame of mind when they come in, that they're healthy mentally and physically to represent their country. So it is a challenge, but with challenge become other opportunities for other players now to come in and stake a claim. And that's been sort of the message of this week. It's like, let's continue to increase the pool, make it more competitive. We talk about wanting to be one of the top 3 teams in CONCACAF in our region. And you only do that by increasing the player pool and making competition for places each and every camp, and making decisions for coaches very, very difficult. And that's all you can ask for. And I'm glad that, we've been able to see some new players emerge in these last few games against some really tough opposition. And as I alluded to before, some of the things you don't necessarily see in games, a lot of the biggest learnings and feedback and intake we get has been in the week of training to see how players sort of react and carry out that match plan. So it is challenging, but like I said, we have to do the best for the players in mind that they have a very hectic season coming up, and we have a very hectic World Cup qualifying coming up in the fall as well.
That's great. Thank you so much. Best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vicky. Let's now go over to America now. Jason Walker. Go ahead, Jason.
Buy 2, get 2 free. Just £49.
Thank you very much, Simon. Good afternoon, everybody.
considering, speaking about opportunities, like we just spoke about, considering, some of our more famous names won't be playing tomorrow, and considering how England plays, who should we be looking at in terms of counteracting England's style of play?
Well, I think
on the Jamaica squad.
Yeah, I mean, I won't tip my hat just yet because obviously we haven't.
What are these England's like spies? Of course, he's not going to be telling you that.
Been able to give out too much, as you can allude. I would love to. Trust me, I would love to be able to tell you some names right off the bat. But I think you'll have to kind of tune in like the rest of everybody else. But I would say it's really about some of those players being a little more consistent. A lot of the players that you've probably seen in the last few matches, it's about building on those performances. So and us building on those performances as a unit, as a group, not so much as individuals, but in terms of our units. Because defending, again, we kind of spoke about, we made against the US, I think 7 individual errors and 4 of them resulted in goals. And that's what happens when you're dealing against the top 5 teams in the world. The margins for error are so small. And so we can minimize those moments. And that's not to say for 89 minutes, some of those players have played really, really well for us. But we have to cut out those little individual mistakes at the inopportune times that lead to goals being conceded. And then when we are in possession, we have to be better in it. We have to retain the ball a bit more, and we have to be a little more threatening going forward. So, those are all the things that we've kind of worked on this week. As I said before, being better in both boxes and making sure that we minimize mistakes, as much as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jason. Members of the media, thank you very much. We appreciate your time, and also to Coach Busby.
Oh God. Yeah. Let me know what you guys make of that. I think I don't really need to add to what's been said because I'll be like regurgitating much of what was mentioned from the review of the squad announcements. I think that's counting I can't tell. It's not a lot of players. Well, maybe he has. Maybe you need to look inside look into his 60-player talent pool. So I think that's me done, guys. Not really sure what else to add aside from feeling, like I said, feeling downbeats for what is now today for me because it's coming up to 2 a.m. Yeah, feeling definitely downbeats. Yeah, it really doesn't. It really, I mean, if you're talking about this repetition of 60-player talent pool, if your 60-player talent pool is so deep, why are you forcing yourself to play players out of position? Why not call on the players from the 60 players talent pool to occupy those positions there where there's a void that needs filling, i.e. in your midfield? So I don't know, maybe the depth or the quality of the 60-player talent pool is not as great as he has made it out to be. And if it's anything like what we've seen against Mexico and the USA, then we're in for something, aren't we? On a Sunday. Like I said, big match, small feeling. This is a game where we should be feeling excited. We should be anticipating a massive encounter. But my feeling is flat. Absolutely flat. But good luck to the team and good luck to the coach and his backroom staff. Not really sure what else to say other than that, guys. Just good luck to them. Hopefully they're able to give a good account of themselves. And of course, this just means that we're not going to be seeing the team until the latter stages of the year, when we go into those all-important World Cup qualifiers, unless he does something, a smaller camp outside of the FIFA windows, which would probably feature maybe those college girls, if that, because obviously they have the college university to tend to, so I don't know. And I'm about to love you and leave you. This has been, I've been streaming with you guys for 1 hour and 55 minutes. So before I forget my manners, big up to Mr. Jackson, Ryan Jackson there for joining me on the first half of the show. Thank you so much for your support. To you guys there in the comment section, pick up yourself each and every time. Thank you for showing me some love and support for almost 2 hours. I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm tired, guys. My eyes hurt. I need to go and do the usual. Eat. Yes, it's 2 a.m. and I'm going to go stuff my face. Don't judge me. Have a happy Sunday. I also need to prepare myself for tomorrow. So good night to you guys. If you're making your way home from work, I do hope that you make it home safe and unharmed. I'm not sure what Mr. Jackson's doing, but I do believe he's going to be streaming later on. So I'll keep my eyes out for that one. And yeah, have a good Saturday evening, guys. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a lovely Sunday and subsequently have a wonderful week when it comes. If you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Thank you for smashing the like button. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You know how this one goes. Until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Tarawa TV with Crystal Davis.